Hey, I wanted to tell you all about an experience I had completing this last photo assignment. Uh, the subculture, or whatever, that I decided to focus on for assignment 4 was fishermen, like recreational fishermen, because I've long enjoyed fishing, used to spend a lot of time doing it. Don't spend much time anymore. I haven't actually fished in months. So Friday morning, I decided to go a few hours drive back to a pier I used to fish from frequently at about dawn, and I was going to get some pictures of people fishing and discarded bait, which there usually is from the night before, and some boats and some other stuff. My mother and sister decided to accompany me there, which I was glad of. We all went out and we were walking around the pier about dawn. I got some pictures of some stuff, like the discarded bait, but there was nobody around fishing. There were a few joggers, nobody fishing. So I decided we would just leave, and I would return later in the day, maybe in the early afternoon, when there would almost certainly be somebody there fishing. Anyway, as we're exiting the pier, this strange little guy in a jogging suit and baseball cap comes up. And when he sees me walking around carrying this camera, pretty noticeable, I also had a tripod with it, he begins to kind of strike silly poses in front of me, as if I'm there to take pictures of him. I have a little laugh, he has a little laugh. I explain that I'm there to take pictures of fishing. He says not only does he like to fish, but he's the fishin' musician. I didn't know what that meant, but I just kind of let it pass. And as he's going by, he's going to continue on his jogging. He turns back and asks, "Do you want to take a picture of me?" Well, I had no particular reason to take a picture of a jogger since I was there to take pictures of fishing, so I declined and explained I was there to take pictures of fishing. If he were fishing, then I would take a picture of him. He explains that he's not planning on fishing that day, but he would willingly return with fishing gear so I could take a picture of him fishing. And something else I forgot to mention, during the conversation after he had said he was the fishing musician, he said he had thought about making a video of himself with a fishing line attached to a guitar singing about being the fishing musician. Here in the South, I mean, lots of people play guitars and think of themselves as musicians and have little country bands and stuff, so that didn't really strike me as anything out of the ordinary, that he would talk about being a musician and making a video. So anyway, I declined his offer of returning to let me take a photograph of him, because I'm thinking, it's getting close to the deadline, just a few days, I want to get the picture taken done. It makes more sense just to return in a few hours and take a picture of random people fishing than try to make arrangements with this guy to take a picture of him specifically. So anyway, the three of us, me, my mother, and sister, exit the pier, go back to the vehicle, and we're leaving and talking about where we're going to go to get breakfast, because it's dawn. Then my sister blurts out, "That guy reminded me of someone." My mother then says, "He reminded me of someone too." And I say, "He reminded me of Jimmy Buffett." I hadn't thought about it before that time, how much he actually did remind me of Jimmy Buffett. I guess it was rattling around somewhere in my head, but it hadn't come into my consciousness how much he did remind me of Jimmy Buffett. But the more I thought about it, the more it seemed that way. I hadn't seen any recent photographs of him. It's been... You don't see the guy very often. So when I got home, I looked on the internet and found some recent video of him and some photographs and stuff. And so here's the rundown on the story. While out for this photo assignment, carrying this camera in my hand, I had a chance encounter with Jimmy Buffett. He offered to let me take his photograph, and I declined. Then he offered to make a special trip back with fishing gear so I could take his photograph fishing, and I declined. If I'd requested, I might have even gotten a picture of him fishing with his guitar, but I didn't think about it and didn't ask. Of course, it's all because I didn't recognize who he was. But I could have had a photograph like that for this photo assignment. And I didn't get one. So anyway, to make up for it, I took a picture of this. Just like it's not a real fish. It's actually made of rubber. It's also not Jimmy Buffett. But it does sing and dance.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so